This military discount card is a joke, it looks completely fake, you people are always trying to scam the system, aren't you? If you believe our veterans deserve respect, not suspicion, type honor our vets below. Arthur Jenkins stood very still. The young salesman's words hit him like cold rain. Arthur was an older man, his face lined with time, his dark hair grey at the sides. He wore simple, neat clothes, a plain shirt and clean trousers. He leaned a little on a cane, a reminder of old injuries. He had come to this big furniture store to buy a new bed. His doctor said a special kind of bed would help his back. The pain was from his years in the army, years he didn't talk about much. Arthur looked at the young salesman, whose name tag read Kevin. Kevin was tapping the discount card on the counter, a smirk on his face. "I'm not trying to scam anyone," Arthur said. His voice was quiet, calm. "That is a real card. I am a veteran." Kevin laughed a short, mean laugh. "Right, and I'm the president. Look, sir, we get all kinds in here. If you want the bed, you pay full price, no fake discounts." Arthur felt a familiar ache, not just in his back, but in his heart. He had served his country for over 30 years. He had seen things no one should see. He had lost friends. And now, this young man was calling him a liar, a scammer. "Could I please speak to your manager?" Arthur asked. He kept his voice even. He knew how to stay calm under pressure. He had learned that a long, long time ago. Kevin rolled his eyes. "The manager is busy. He doesn't have time for people trying to cheat us. Why don't you just pay or leave?" He pushed the card back towards Arthur as if it was dirty. Other customers in the store were starting to look. Arthur could feel their eyes on him. He felt his cheeks grow warm. It was embarrassing to be treated this way in public. "This is not how you should treat customers," Arthur said, his voice still low, "especially not veterans." "Oh, here we go," Kevin said, louder now. "Playing the veteran card, are we? I've heard it all before. My grandpa was a real hero, didn't need to flash cards for a cheap bed." He snatched the card again. "In fact, I think this is so obviously fake, I should just do this." And Kevin tore the discount card in half. He threw the pieces on the floor. Arthur stared at the torn pieces of his card. It wasn't just a card, it was a small symbol of his service, of the sacrifices he had made. He felt a deep sadness, and then a slow anger began to burn inside him. But he did not shout, he did not make a scene. He thought about walking away. It would be easier. Just leave, find another store. But why should he? He had done nothing wrong. And what about the next veteran who came in here? Would Kevin treat them the same way? Then, Arthur remembered something. A promise, a name, a phone number he kept in his wallet, tucked behind an old photo. It was a number he had never used, a number he hoped he would never need to use. General Thompson, 4 stars. A man Arthur had served with, a man who had become a dear friend, a man who always said, "Artie, if you ever need anything, you call me. Day or night, I mean it." Arthur slowly reached into his back pocket and took out his old leather wallet. His hand shook a little as he found the small, folded piece of paper. Kevin watched him, arms crossed, looking smug. "What now? Calling your mummy?" Arthur ignored him. He took out his simple cell phone. He carefully dialed the number. It rang twice. "Thompson," a strong voice answered. "No hello, just the name." "General," Arthur said quietly, "it's Arthur Jenkins." There was a pause, then the voice warmed. "Artie, my goodness, it's been too long. How are you, old friend? Is everything all right?" "Not exactly, General," Arthur said. He explained, in a few simple sentences, where he was and what had happened. He did not raise his voice. He did not add extra drama. He just told the facts. The furniture store, the bed for his back, the salesman, the torn card, the accusation of being a scammer. When Arthur finished, there was a dead silence on the other end of the line. For a moment, Arthur wondered if the call had dropped. Then General Thompson spoke. His voice was very, very cold. "Arthur, stay right where you are. Do not move. I am on my way. Tell me the name of that store again." Arthur told him. "I know it," the general said. 8 minutes, Arthur. Maybe less." The line went dead. 8 minutes. Arthur put his phone back in his pocket. He looked at Kevin, who was still smirking, though perhaps with a little less confidence now. He had seen Arthur make the call. Who was that? Your imaginary friend? Kevin sneered. Arthur didn't answer. He just stood there, waiting. The other customers were still watching, curious. Some looked sympathetic. One older lady shook her head sadly at Kevin's behavior. If you've ever seen someone treated unfairly and wished you could help, type "I stand for respect" in the comments. The minutes ticked by. 1, 2, 3. Arthur focused on his breathing, keeping calm. Kevin started to look a little uneasy. He tapped his foot. He glanced towards the store entrance. 4 minutes. 5. Then, Arthur heard it. Sirens. Faint at first, but growing louder, closer. Kevin's face went pale. What was going on? 6 minutes. The sirens were very loud now, right outside. Then, the screech of tires. Car doors slammed. Lots of them. The front doors of the big furniture store burst open. In walked General Thompson. He was in full uniform, his 4 stars shining on his shoulders. He was a tall, imposing man, and he looked furious. Behind him were 2 military police officers, also in uniform, and behind them, looking worried, was a man in a suit, probably the store manager, finally disturbed from his busy schedule. Kevin's jaw dropped. His face turned from pale to a sickly green. He looked like he was going to be sick. General Thompson's eyes scanned the store, and then he saw Arthur. His face softened instantly. "Arthur," he boomed, striding forward. He ignored Kevin completely. He walked right up to Arthur and gave him a respectful nod, then a warm handshake. "It's good to see you, Sergeant Major Jenkins, even under these circumstances." "Sergeant Major." Kevin's eyes nearly popped out of his head. The store manager hurried over, wringing his hands. "General Thompson, sir, I am so sorry, I had no idea. What seems to be the problem?" General Thompson turned to the manager, and his face was like stone. "The problem, Mr. Davis. Bill Davis, store owner, actually," the man stammered. He had clearly been called and rushed here. "Mr. Davis," the general said, his voice dangerously low, "the problem is that one of your employees has insulted, disrespected, and accused a decorated war hero of being a scammer. A man who has given more to this country than he could ever understand." He pointed a stern finger at Kevin, who looked like he wanted the floor to swallow him up. This boy tore up Sergeant Major Jenkins's official military discount card. He called him a liar. The general then looked at Arthur. "Sergeant Major Jenkins served this nation for 32 years. He has 3 Purple Hearts, a Silver Star, a Bronze Star with Valor. He led men in combat. He saved lives. He carries injuries from his service every single day, and he comes into your store to buy a bed for those injuries, and he is treated like dirt." The other customers gasped. Some whispered. The older lady who had shaken her head earlier now looked at Kevin with pure anger. Mr. Davis, the owner, looked horrified. He turned to Kevin. "Is this true? Did you do this?" Kevin could only nod, his eyes wide with fear. I thought I didn't know." "You didn't know?" General Thompson thundered. "You don't need to know someone's life story to treat them with basic human decency and respect. Your job is to assist customers, not to act as a judge and jury for who is worthy of a discount." Mr. Davis stepped forward. "Kevin," he said, his voice shaking with anger, "you are fired, effective immediately. Get your things and get out, and I expect you to apologize to this gentleman before you leave." Kevin, trembling, turned to Arthur. I'm so sorry, sir. I made a terrible mistake." Arthur looked at the young man, who now seemed so small. "Yes, you did," Arthur said quietly. "Learn from it." Kevin nodded quickly and practically ran to the back room. Mr. Davis then turned to Arthur, his face full of shame. "Sergeant Major Jenkins, I cannot apologize enough. On behalf of my store, my company, I am mortified. This is not how we operate. This is not what we stand for." He continued, "The bed you came for, it's yours, free of charge, of course, the best one we have, and we will deliver it and set it up for you this very afternoon, personally. And please, accept this store credit for $5,000 for any other needs you may have." Arthur was taken aback. "That's very generous, Mr. Davis, but it's not necessary." "It is absolutely necessary," General Thompson said firmly. "And Mr. Davis, I appreciate your prompt action with that employee." "General," Mr. Davis said, "this store will be closed for the rest of the day." I'm going to conduct an emergency retraining session with all my staff on proper customer service, and specifically on how to treat our veterans with the honor they deserve. We will also be making a significant donation to the local veterans support organization. The general nodded slowly. A wise decision, Mr. Davis. A very wise decision. He looked around the store. Perhaps this incident will ensure no other veteran is ever treated this way here again. The store was effectively shut down for the day. The few remaining customers were politely asked to return another time, and they left, buzzing about what they had just seen. Arthur finally got the help he needed for his bed. Mr. Davis himself oversaw the selection. General Thompson stayed with Arthur, chatting about old times, the tension slowly leaving the air. Later, as Arthur was escorted out to a waiting car the general had arranged, he felt a sense of peace. Justice had been done. Not just for him, but for the idea that people who serve deserve kindness, not suspicion. The story of what happened at the furniture store spread. The local news even picked it up, without using Arthur's name, but focusing on the importance of respecting veterans. The store did make a large donation, and they changed their company policies nationwide to better train employees. Arthur Jenkins remained a quiet hero. He didn't want fame or fuss, he was just glad that a wrong had been made right. He was happy that his friend, the general, had been there for him, a true brother in arms. It showed that sometimes one phone call can change everything, and it reminded everyone that you should never, ever judge a book by its cover. Heroes walk among us every day, often in the quietest forms. The lesson here is clear. Respect is earned through actions, not appearances, and those who have served our country deserve our deepest gratitude and honor. If you agree that true heroes deserve our unending respect, please subscribe to our channel for more stories that uplift and inspire. And remember to always treat others with kindness. You never know whose path you might cross.